And we're live. Hey, how's everybody doing? Listen, I have got a special guest I'm bringing on tonight. Her name is Becky Chernek. A lot of people call her Rebecca Chernek. I call her Becky. Sometimes I call her Rebecca when she doesn't listen to me. I'm just kidding. So listen, I don't want to, I'm not going to hold this up. I want to go ahead and bring Becky on in. Becky, I think you muted yourself. Thank you for everyone who has shared. So Becky, you're on. How you doing?
Hey, Ken. Thank you for all the wonderful instructions. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys tonight, or with you, Ken, tonight. Thank you for having me.
So I said I was going to do this at 8:30 and I had some issues with the software needing updated. Oh dear Lord. So hey, everything doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes you get the nice surprise of not, hang on, I'm looking for the video here. Here we go. I'm going to have to turn this down. Whoa, that's loud. So, I just wanted to hop on. We've got Elizabeth, Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing, by the way. Greg Crane, what's up, brother? So, John Harrington's in the house. So, listen, Becky, you and I have, you're a client of mine. And
yes, I am.
You and I have gotten pretty close and have talk through a lot of awesome things.
Yep.
I gotta tell you that, I've known about you for a while, but we've been Facebook friends for, I think, at least 2 or 3 years. But we just recently in the last few months kind of connected and so I'm really grateful for that. I think you're phenomenal. I know that you have one heck of a story that a lot of people may not know about, and I'm going to start doing some. And I told you I'm going to start doing some Facebook Lives and interviewing people. And this is my very first one that I'm doing where I'm interviewing someone, and you are the very first guest on my new show.
There we go. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So why don't we, I find what your, I know you've recently suffered some terrible news and stuff also, but, let's start with, what got, because, for those of you who don't know, Becky is you do speaking engagements, right? You go to, big automotive events and speak on stage. You've done that. I know you've done that, right?
Yes.
Okay. You go into car dealerships and you help them get their stuff together, right?
We have fun.
Huh?
We have fun. Yes.
Right. So,
sure.
You help car dealers become more profitable is pretty much how it's summed up. But let's back up to, I know you're only like 29. So,
that's me.
All right. So how did you end up in the car business? Where did that all start?
Well, okay. Actually started with my dad.
Okay.
Because I don't think I would have been able to do any of it without my dad, to be perfectly honest with you. My dad was everything to me. He was actually self-made. He sold cars at a Cadillac dealership in Baltimore, and then he worked his way up the ladder and became a sales manager, and from there he became a general manager, and he had been with that Chesapeake Cadillac company in Baltimore for years, for 15 years. And actually I have a really cool picture of him. It's on my website though.
Yeah.
And back in 1947. And it was really cool. And then from there, he ended up having his own dealership. So of course, Dad and I would talk at night and he would tell me all the war stories and we would sit together and I was just like, oh no, I guess, my mom she'd go to bed. She'd get tired of hearing it and I'd be up there. If I got home at a certain time at night, there's Dad. And so here we were talking about all this stuff in the car business. And then Dad got his dealership. So it was quite interesting.
And he was a Cadillac dealer, right?
Yes.
Lisa Collins Davidson said, my father was a car dealer for 50 years. I grew up in that business. That's awesome.
It's a great business. It's a lot of fun. Good people, lots of good times. I tell you, some tough times too. You know, it's not always easy, but I tell you, when people get to know you and they respect you and you get to work with one another, you become brothers and sisters, man. I'm telling you, they'll do anything they can to take good care of you. So I've had good times. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your dad, now, did you start, selling cars for your dad, or how did, like, you were a kid, right?
Oh, I was a kid. Oh yeah.
And then like what, you were like turned 12 and decided you wanted to sell cars that day? How did that work?
Well, you know, it wasn't like Dad wanted me to do it. He said, oh, you don't want to do this. Go be a TV reporter. Go do something else. You want to be like Barbara Walters. That's what I want you to be. I'm like, I'm not going to be a TV reporter. No way, Dad. So I was like, I want to do what you're doing. And it was like unheard of, right? Back in the day, it was just like, no, you can't do this. I can. I'll prove it to you. I can. So yeah, I sold cars at the dealership for a while, and we had some fun. I had some fun, drove my father crazy. And then I just had this one brave idea, you know, growing up, you know, I wanted to sell my own oats. I wanted to do my own thing as girls do when they get older.
Yeah.
And I decided I had my wings, and I went on to sell computers and copiers.
You what?
I did. I left the dealership and I'm like, I want to go back to Baltimore where my roots are. I want to go sell computers and copiers because that's the way of the future, man. That's what I wanted.
So you left your dad's dealership.
Yes.
And
he thought I was nuts anyway. He's like, okay, whatever. So I left.
Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me. How old were you then?
Oh, I don't know. I don't talk age.
Well,
no, but I was young. I was very young, and I was going to school, and then too a little bit. So it was good. And then I found out, I don't know, 6-8 months into it, that there had to be an easier way to make a living.
Selling copiers?
Yeah, knocking on doors and selling copiers and computers. I'm like, I don't think this is for me. This isn't my calling. So I knocked on Al Packard, Lincoln and Mercury's door in Baltimore, and I said, hire me to sell cars.
Nice.
I was their first female.
Really? Ever?
Yep. Ever.
Wow.
That was like, no, we don't want to hire you. And I'm like, well, why not? Well, look at you. No, I'm just
Oh my God.
gotta have a sense of humor.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. So they ended up hiring me because they wouldn't take no for an answer. And I'm telling you right there, after 30, 60, 90 days, I proved that I certainly had the car gene in my blood, and my career in automotive retail takes off. So you just have to push it. You just got to push hard. Well, and I pushed it.
Hey, Austin Lee just asked, do you remember the first car you sold?
Here's a great story. Can I share this one story?
Absolutely. I want to hear it.
It's hilarious.
Hey, Jason Alt, what's going on? We've got some real, Richie Bellows in here.
Wow.
Thank you, Richie.
Okay.
So yeah, share. I want to hear it. Give us all the juicy details.
All the juicy details. This is just a funny freaking weird story.
Okay.
So here's this kid, and he's like 10 years old, and he's driving on the lot with his little bicycle. I went out and I started talking to him, and everybody's making fun of me. Oh, she's spending time with this 10-year-old kid. Well, come to find out, I gave him some water, made sure he had some water, made sure he was like wanted the price of this Continental, the pre-owned Continental. Right. And I'll never forget it. And I'm like, sure, here's the price. It was full retail, by the way. And I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I said, here it is. Make sure you don't lose it. And so I just answered his questions, and off the little kid went. And everybody said, oh, sure. Now she's selling bicycles to people. It's a little 10-year-old. Well, we know it. The mother was eyeing this car the entire time. She lived up the hill. She said, I couldn't believe how well you treated my son. She bought the car from me. It floored everyone. Kind of floored me too. It's pretty cool, right? So you just never judge a book by its cover, right? That's one thing I learned, right from the get-go. It was
awesome.
really cool.
Was that your first car?
That was one of my, I'm trying to think, the first car was a Ford S, like sort of like a really small car.
Okay.
And, we had to ride the brake and the pedal at the same time because it wouldn't stay started. Becky, do you know how to ride the brake and the paddle at the same time? I'm like, are you kidding me? So I think it was, I know, I kept that. Okay. So
Richard Trevino, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Austin said, if it wasn't for a friendly water bottle, my first deal wouldn't have closed. Yeah.
See?
Right?
See?
So
it's all about water.
It's those little things, right? That's
great.
Awesome. That's a great story.
It's a true, yeah.
And all the veteran salespeople thought you were crazy.
Y'all absolutely thought I was crazy. I'm like, why are you spending time with this 10-year-old? What are you doing? Getting them a cup of coffee, some water. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop it already.
Right.
But it was real. But I really think that was probably my second or third car maybe I sold. But I remember it was a smaller, like a Ford S, I don't know, something along those lines. And I remember that we had a hard time just keeping it running for a while.
So it was a used car.
I worked in the pre-owned store.
Oh.
Not the new car store. It was pre-owned, man. I mean, that's where you made all the money.
Right.
I mean, really.
Is that still the case?
Pre-owned?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think pre-owned is a good way to go. I like pre-owned.
Yeah.
Pre-owned is a good deal. Yes, I love pre-owned.
I've never sold cars, but I'm connected to like a lot of people in the car business. It's insane.
Well, people in the car business are fun people. They're good people.
They are.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a good industry. Yeah.
So you went, started out at your dad's dealership. You went to, do you have the Facebook feed open on your phone also?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see comments and stuff as they come in.
Oh, sure.
That Bill Have is on here. He says previously enjoyed instead of pre-owned. Previously enjoyed. I love that. So
okay.
You started at your dad's. You're gonna have to turn it down.
I see that. I feel that. I'm still learning this whole Facebook Live
You're
stuff.
Awesome.
You know that.
You've been a great student.
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't have done this without you. I mean.
So you started with your dad's Cadillac dealership. You grew up hearing stories about the car business. And then you ended up back in Baltimore selling copiers. There's something I've never sold. I've never sold copiers. I thought I'd sold everything under the moon. I've never sold copiers. I think I interviewed at a copy place one time. And I don't remember. I used to drink a lot. So
you could have made it great in the car business.
Oh, I probably would have.
We all drank a lot back then.
I would have been fired from a lot of car dealerships.
They fired the guys too who didn't show up for work the next day, or they would take their demos in and sleep on the lot and wake up in the morning, or you had to go out there and wake them up.
Oh my God. Oh dear God. So,
oh my God.
and here's a great question. Austin Lee says, do you have any crazy test drive stories?
You don't want to know about that crazy test drive.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep it PG for I'm kidding.
A really crazy one was when, I put someone in the trunk and I locked him in there by mistake. But other than that, I mean, I had to go get the manager to help.
Other than that. Oh my God, that's funny.
Or, there was the other one, the landing pod story, and that was really a tough learning lesson.
The what?
a landing pod story.
What's that?
You
What's a
can't
landing
make this
pod?
stuff up. I'm telling you, that's the beauty of the car business. You can't make this stuff up. They can all relate. The craziest stuff happens. It's like,
What's a landing pod?
that was one of my customers. We ended up calling her a landing pod, but at the time it was miserable. It was a miserable learning experience, but she came in looking for a car.
Yeah.
And I figured I would just say, look, if we can make the numbers agreeable, if we can make these payments right, would you buy the car for me? And
Yeah.
she said, yeah, I like you. I'm like, cool, come on inside.
Okay.
We put the numbers together. It took us 3 days, Kathy, to go ahead and get her done by the bank, which was good. It was good. She did.
Yeah.
We ended up having to go ahead and DX his vehicle in. And
Did you say DX?
dealer exchange. That's,
Oh.
yeah, dealer exchange.
Okay.
Get the vehicle from another dealership.
Uh-huh.
Of course, lost the whole back and everything else with it. And then we put some other stuff in the car and stuff like that. Come to find out, because I didn't do the test drive, because I missed that wonderful step, when I went, and Kathy, you know, and anyone in the car business knows when an F&I person walks the customer out in the middle of the showroom, you know, greet to meet back with the salesperson. Things are good. Things are really good.
Right.
Everybody's happy. I was happy. Everybody was happy.
Yeah.
Until I went to put her in the car.
Yeah.
She doesn't fit.
She doesn't fit?
She didn't fit in the car. I had to go up to the desk and tell my manager, you're not going to believe this, Jay. She doesn't fit in the car.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. That
I was
is not...
humiliated. Humiliated. You know, I was the only female. Come on.
Oh,
you know what I mean? What that must have felt like? I'll get her to fit in the car. I said, okay, sure. Go ahead, try it.
Oh, my God. He said, I'll get her to... Oh, my God. That
Horrible.
is ridiculous.
It's a nightmare. He still talks about it today.
Oh, my
it's a great training story for him. He says, Becky, I still tell everybody about that story.
Do the test drive.
Always do the test.
Mikey Boise says, what is the number one lesson you learned selling cars?
Always do the test drive. Absolutely. And here's the other thing. Always put your best foot forward. Always put your best foot forward. I think a lot of times we just assume so much.
Yeah.
You know, we do. We assume all the reasons why somebody's not going to buy something or whatever. Just got to put your best foot forward. Yeah. Here's a customer. She says, what's the price of the vehicle? So I said, what did I have to lose? I said, the price is right here on the window. And what does she do? She says, okay, I like you. I'll buy the car from you.
Yeah.
So you always have to put your best foot forward.
Jorge, what's up? Jorge lives down in, where Cancun. He lives in Cancun.
Nice.
Yeah. Lives there. It's freaking
I'll Cancun's my place.
Yeah. She'll be your pool boy
and,
or pool girl.
I hope I be the boy.
Yeah. Okay, back to you started selling for your dad. You sold, I assume, for a couple of years, I would imagine.
Sure.
And then you decided to go back to Baltimore and sell copiers. Right?
That's right. That's right.
And then probably
computers too. Computers
as well. Okay. 'Cause those were
important.
Yeah.
It was the thing, right? It was technology.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking technology is growing.
Right. So, and then you went back to a car dealership, a used car lot, right?
Yes.
And,
well, it was actually a franchise dealership at the pre-owned location. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey Boise just said, has anyone ever said you look like Sandra Bullock a little bit?
Yes.
I never even thought about it, but you do.
In the grocery store, they stop me.
Do they?
You know who you look like? Yeah, that's what they do.
You need to just roll with that and say, yeah, here, give me, I'll sign it. Yeah, I'll give you my autograph. And then put your real name on there. Who the hell's Rebecca Chernek?
That's me.
I thought you knew. Just like, I thought you knew. So
that's what core people do.
So you went to and how long did you work there?
Oh, for a good year. And then I left.
Okay.
And went to a truck dealership.
Trucks? Like semi-trucks? Big trucks?
Oh, F-150, 250, diesel, stuff like that, 350s. It was it was that. And the reason why is because they didn't have Maroni stickers on the trucks.
They didn't have
so you could really make Maroni stickers, like manufacturer sticker.
Oh.
The pricing. You could literally charge whatever you could get away with.
Oh my God.
It was great. It was like, that's where I belong.
Oh, jeez. Oh my. So these were new trucks?
New trucks and pre-owned trucks.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I could sell a fleet of trucks. I could sell all kinds of trucks. I had so much fun there. I was the first female there too.
Wow.
I know. It was amazing.
Wow.
Great dealer, great people, had a good time. That dealer ends up promoting me into F&I.
So that's where the F&I thing started.
That's where that started. Yep. He didn't really want to take me off the floor because I was doing so well. But I begged him. I said, please.
Because F&I, everybody knows F&I managers make like $200,000-300,000 a year, right?
Not in the beginning. I didn't anyway.
Right.
I didn't know.
Right.
He told me you have to make a pay cut to go forward.
Oh, is that what they told you?
I bought into that, yeah.
Jorge, thank you for sharing, bro. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who shared this, by the way.
Thank you.
So you went into F&I, you took a pay cut to go into F&I.
Absolutely.
And boy, like you have really, I mean, I know you pretty well. You've come a long damn way.
Yeah. I mean, you just take every opportunity that you get and you work it and you just make it happen and you don't look back.
Right.
And one of the benefits that, I was very thankful for the dealers that I've had a chance to work with.
Yeah.
These guys were phenomenal. I mean, they didn't care what you were. You could be green for all they cared. If you're talented, I'm promoting you.
Wow.
It's just the way it was. I mean, it's just what it was. I mean, Maryland, Baltimore, that's kind of where, I'm from, that whole Washington DC area.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you that Jimmy Coons is probably one of the best dealers I ever had a chance to work. I work for a lot of great dealers. I really have. I've been very fortunate. And they're like, I really don't care. If you can do the job, we're hiring you. We're putting you in that position. You just better prove yourself.
Right.
And that's what I had to, I mean, yeah, they'll give you the opportunity, but you better not mess around.
I've never sold cars, but I've bought cars, and I always hate going into the F&I office. Always hated it. I always have, because it's like, I don't know. I always feel like I'm going to the principal's office or something. And they're going to thank me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we did it with kid gloves.
Oh my God. So I was like, Mikey Boise says, have you heard of eLead One software for car dealerships? Absolutely.
It's a great program, great software program. Absolutely have all day long.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So Rich
the desk, helps the desk, the deals and stuff.
We're getting some laughs. Sandra. I'm going to start calling you Sandra.
Sandra who? Who's that? Oh, Sandra Bullock, me. Oh, yeah. Well, it's real.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you started at this truck dealership doing F&I, and then like you've done, have you pretty much stayed with F&I ever since then, or have you been back out on the floor?
Well, I'll tell you right now, from that point on, my career it just skyrocketed. I mean, I loved it. I mean, F&I was just me. Oh my God. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I was awesome. I mean, it's just like everything. I could take a deal. I could spin a deal. I could talk to, but here's one thing I always did because I came from the floor and I had to understand it and grow from it. I always treated every deal, I took a cash deal, finance deal, bad deal, you name it kind of deal. I would do everything that I could to work with that sales associate because I realized the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into a deal. And it always seemed, because I did that, it really helped me and they helped me. So it was a two-way street. It's always a two-way street.
Right.
The sales associate is my customer. I'm bending backwards. I'm doing everything we can, working together to put some deals together. Cash deal, okay, but still, I'm going to spin it. We're going to make it happen. Let's get it done. Let's go to the next deal. Whatever, we have to do to make it happen.
Right.
That's what you do.
Right.
That's what you do. But I had fun.
And honestly, if that's a universal principle, it doesn't just apply to the car business. If you can create that type of environment, like it works for any business, right? Like if you can have people playing on the same team. Unfortunately, there's a lot of businesses that don't understand that and they pit people against one another. And I think that's probably somewhat prominent in the car business. Like there's
I think it's a shame. I think that, I think it's better that we don't do that. I think that if we streamline the process and everybody kind of working with one another and really helping to really mold a deal, put a deal together, whatever that it takes to make a deal happen,
right.
You're going to sell more cars. We're going to make more profit. Right. We all belong together.
Right.
And
you'll have happier customers along the way too, right?
Well, wouldn't that be something? I always had happy customers. My customers were always happy.
Always.
Always.
Every one of them.
Every single, only one time I made a customer cry.
Let's back up for 1 second. The woman that you sold the car to, you got the deal done, it was all done, ready, took her out to deliver the car to her, and she couldn't fit in the car. She did not fit in the car because you didn't do a test drive. But my question is,
was Kathy happy? No.
What'd you say?
Kathy wasn't happy, no.
Is her name
that was
Kathy?
the F9 person.
Her name
was Kathy.
So, what was the look on her face? I'm sorry.
Who, the customer or Kathy?
Huh?
Which one, Kathy or the customer?
The customer.
She was very upset. She had tears in her eyes. I felt so horrible. And then I had to go up to the desk. Back then we had the Tower of Power.
Yeah.
It was just like I was praying to the tower, and I'm like, Jay. And he jumps off the tower. I'll get her to fit in the car. That night, you talk about drinking. I went out with my brother that night, and I had White Russians. I haven't had a White Russian since.
Oh my God, that is too funny. Holy crap.
Oh, you have no idea. I was miserable. I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, how am I going to go back into work today? Keep my face.
Oh my God, that is too freaking funny. So, okay.
And Kathy wasn't happy.
I'm sorry, I had to revisit that. I just wanted to know what that poor customer felt like. She had to feel pretty humiliated. Like
she
bad.
did. She felt really bad.
Did you sell her something else?
I couldn't.
Why?
Because that was the only car she got.
Oh man.
We worked 3 days to get her done. Kathy worked 3 days.
3 days? I missed that.
Yeah, 3 days. God. It took us 3 days to go ahead and get her done.
Wow.
Get her done.
Wow. So,
it's one of those things. It's a learning lesson.
Yeah. So you've been in the car business for a while, and at some point you stopped working for a dealership and decided, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to start training these dang dealers and teaching them what I know. How did that all come about? And I mean, obviously you probably don't want to mention names. keep
ages.
But,
no.
But like what happened? What was the catalyst that kind of catapulted you into like, you know what, screw this crap. I'm not doing this for somebody else anymore. I'm doing it for me, and I'm going to go out and how did that happen?
Well, there was a lot of other things that happened. Of course, I became, a director of finance for some very large automotive groups in the Washington, D.C. area. So it's, so I ended up, running some big stores and that sort of thing. So of course you got to have a little bit of that going for you. Yeah. And I had an ego like out here, and I just think I own the world, but I will give credit where credit is due. I get hired, by the JM&A group, and they turned my world all upside down, and they have you in dealerships all over the country. And if you think you know everything, you don't know anything.
Really?
I said, I can show you a thing or two. They said, okay, sister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How did that work for you?
It was amazing. It was a great experience, great exposure. Met some awesome, very good car people along the way. I don't know how they are today. That was a long time ago, but I tell you, I really got a lot out of it, and I learned a great deal. I learned exactly what I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I learned I knew a lot, but I'll tell you, I learned a great more by being in different dealerships across the country, and I needed that. Wow. And everyone has a different process and a different way to be, and you learn how to really gain buy-in. And it's not dictating to someone. It's saying, I have an idea I want to share with you. I want to help you with. So it was very difficult for, when I went from there to the AutoNation deal. So, we were very fortunate. My few chosen ones, including me, when I get promoted into the AutoNation division mega dealerships across the country. And it was
they have a lot, don't they?
Oh, they're the number one retailer today.
AutoNation.
Yes. And they say worldwide, but I don't know, maybe, definitely in the United States. And
do you know Eric Brower, by the way?
Hi, Eric Brower. Hey, I think so. Definitely. Hey, Eric.
He was a GM. He's a good dude. Good friend of mine.
Awesome.
But he said JM&A was great in the 90s.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So I was with them in the 95.
So you were only a young teenager. Wow.
I was a young teenager then. So, definitely.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, definitely young.
Running their entire finance department. That's awesome.
That's me. Yeah. Well, we had a fun time. To tell you, we did. I met some really good people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Car people.
So you went to AutoNation after that?
Yeah. Well, actually with JM&A, and we implemented menu selling for the first time.
Okay.
And you talk about
what that means, but.
Well, that was like being upfront. Customers actually knew what they were paying for a car, for crap's sake. They actually knew a base payment in the term before you went into, there was no box to go into. And everybody said, Becky, go back in the box. That deal's not good.
Right.
What are you doing out here in the middle of the floor?
Right.
People don't buy that way.
Wow.
That is going to fail. That's going to fail. So, I did. And I'm thinking, I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I figured, what the heck, what's the worst thing that could happen? Yeah. So it was the best thing that I ended up doing. One of the best things in my career is being involved in that pilot program that nobody believed would ever take off.
Wow.
I know. It was pretty cool. And we proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that you could be upfront with customers. You could put your cards on the table that people would buy. And they did. And we turned some numbers. We turned some heads. We turned the nation around. We helped to evolutionize the way F&I was going to get done, period.
Wow.
I don't care what anyone says.
Wow.
Period.
And you were one of the leaders of that entire thing.
I was the, chosen few. I was working with a team of people.
Yeah.
And terrific people.
Yeah.
But I will say that everyone thought there's no way this is going to take off. These people are nuts. And in many ways, they're a little different, but they really it was, Wayne Huizenga was way before his time. He really saw things that probably everybody else didn't see. Well, he definitely did.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. It was amazing.
So you did, man, you've done some pretty amazing things. So after that, you, what happened after that? Like
then AutoNation decided that they wanted to do some different things. And so, JMA offered me some other opportunities elsewhere. And I decided, you know what? I have to do this deal on my own. I have to do this deal. This is too important.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get into stores and I'm gonna work with them and I'm gonna provide this training and come heck or high water. And so it was about a year or two into it, maybe not even that. And I get this phone call from Jim Ziegler. You know Jim Ziegler? I don't know if you know Jim Ziegler or not.
I definitely have heard his name. I don't know him though, but I've heard.
Pretty big car guy,
yeah.
In the industry.
Yeah.
And funny, when he called me, I didn't know who he was. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. And he's like, you don't know who I am? I'm like, no.
That's funny.
I know.
Should I know who you are?
Yeah. Jim. And it's just like, of course, but anyway, we ended up getting together and, he gave me another great opportunity and I took advantage of it. And I did the menu classes, workshops throughout the United States.
Yeah.
He got me in front of a ton of dealers, many 20 groups. And I mean, between the menu classes and then he did his work, sales management classes. I mean, we just like kicked it off, team member. I mean, we just knocked it out of the park.
So
it was great.
For the people listening that are not in the car business, what's a 20 group?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's when a bunch of dealers get together and it's with NADA, National Auto Dealers Association, or NCM 20 groups. And they get together and they kind of compare stories and measure their performance and things like that. Car people, especially when the dealer goes to a 20 group are like, oh my gosh, what's he going to come up with next when he gets back? So it's a training session.
So it's the dealer owner or the GM that's part of it.
Or it can be fixed ops. It can be anyone. It could be sales managers. They have them for all right now. They have them for F&I. In fact, I'm doing a workshop, a class for NCM Institute, and that'll be in May. And that's F&I fundamentals, finance and insurance management. Yeah.
Nice. When is that?
Yeah. May 9th and 10th. That's with NCM Institute.
Where is that?
In Kansas.
Nice.
Kansas City. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. I work with them. I'll do some of their workshops. Right. Last year we did, integration, desking and F&I integration workshop.
So I know you have some training programs out there for car dealers, for your, for F&I training and stuff, but you also have, you do on-site stuff too, and you help with sales training and everything, right? You're kind of the whole package. And everybody thinks you look like Sandra Bullock, so that helps too. So
we have a good time when we get into the store.
Right.
Sandra, let's go.
Yeah, right. So like who's your, and I know that you've got dealers all over the nation that you work with. But like what's your ideal customer look like? Obviously not somebody that thinks their F&I and their profit margins are perfect. So that wouldn't be probably the best client, right?
Well, it's funny. Sometimes they're the best clients.
Oh, wow.
Because they're always pushing to do more and be more. I work with some dealers now that they're pretty awesome, but they're always looking for more.
Yeah.
So I just don't look at it quite like that. Sometimes I'm like, you brought me in here because of what? Because, I'm like, you're pretty good,
right.
And it's kind of ironic, but I get more dealers who are doing pretty good.
That's awesome.
Darn good, that want to achieve more than the dealer that really needs to do more.
Right. Wow.
And it's like, why aren't you picking up the phone? Why aren't you doing something about it? I get more calls from dealers who are doing good versus the ones that could use some work.
Right. They're in denial.
I guess so. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
What do you do? Like when you go in like to a new dealer and let's say that you're, putting together a proposal or you're going in for the first meeting. How's that? What happens? Like, hey, I'm going to come in and fix your F&I department. And they go, okay, you're hired. No?
I don't know about that. It's that easy.
Right.
It depends on how desperate they are. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
We have a good conversation. We have a good conversation on the phone. And, I really kind of get an understanding as to what the dealer's looking for. What do you like? What don't you like? Right. I don't think you go into a dealership and just blow it up. You've got to look for, the little things that can really make a big difference. And believe it or not, I look for the little things that make a big, gigantic difference. And believe it or not, it can be just the little things that make a huge difference in their process, that sort of thing. The reason why I work with everyone, because everything matters. It's just not one little thing.
Right.
It's coming together that makes all the difference in the world.
Right.
I wish it could be that easy. It's not. It's the little things that we put together that make all the difference.
Right.
So a dealer says, okay, what can you do? Well, first of all, tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what your process is. Can you identify what your process is? And some dealers can't. Wow. They're like, I guess this is what's happening. I guess that's I don't really know what's happening.
Oh my God.
I love the honesty when I get that.
Yeah.
Then you have the dealer that says, I know exactly what's happening. And I'm like, great. Okay, cool. We're good. And then I meet with or talk on the phone. Just depends. And then meet with the GM. And then from there, maybe the F&I director.
Right.
But then once I get their story, because their story matters.
Right.
It matters to me. I want to know what you're thinking.
Right. Yeah.
About you. Because I don't want to go in there without your buy-in.
Right.
I'm not going to demolish you. That's not my deal. That's not what I'm there for. But then I do audits. And then that's like the checkup from the doctor.
Eric Brower says, Becky, you are spot on. So many dealers want the big, in quotes, change and don't focus on the small tweaks that will increase revenue immediately.
Absolutely. Because you got that big elephant. Why you can look at that big elephant, but the reality of it is you can only take so much in.
Right.
I've seen that over the years too. So I take the best bites out of where I can to make the biggest movement.
Right.
And the tipping point, right? Thank you, Eric. And so then you go in and then I audit the deal. So I do online audits. I do in dealership audits, and that gives me my snapshot. That's the x-ray of really what's happening in the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell a lot from the audit.
Really?
And it's not there to scare people. It's just reality.
Yeah.
It's between compliance, between desking to way the deal makes its ugly way into the F&I office, to menu presentation, to all of it. And there's a lot to be seen in that deal. And so it's like, okay, do you want to know the truth? Of course I want to know the truth. I'm here to tell you the truth because we don't have that many days.
Right.
That's what they pay me.
Right.
And so let's go ahead and let's tell it the way it is.
Wow.
I don't sugarcoat it.
Good.
That's the difference with me though. See, I'm not politically connected. Like some of the other, and I don't mean anything bad by it. You got insurance providers and everybody else has got their little, hands into the pie and stuff like that.
Right.
They're not, sometimes they sugarcoat stuff. I don't. Dealer pays me to be honest.
Right.
I go in and I'm honest and I say, this is what the deal is and this is what it is. And you tell me, what do you want to do?
Well, and that honesty, I'm going to go full screen with just you. Everybody look at her office, how gorgeous that is. Like, it's beautiful. So that honesty has obviously paid off, right? So
it's a decision you make in life. Decision you make in life, right?
That's right. That's right. Eric said, I agree with you. Tell it like it is. Hey, Daniel Ocampo from Dallas. How you doing, bro? Good to see you on here, man. So, like, I mean, I've said this since you and I really connected that, like, Becky, you are a freaking, you're a badass. Like, you know your stuff, right?
Yeah.
You really, really know your stuff.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Olivieri says she is beautiful too. So
oh, thank you. Thank you. So
that.
cool.
My
Yay.
special guest is just getting so many compliments tonight. Eric Brower says too many yes people in our business. So,
oh, yeah.
are there?
You can't get anything done.
Yeah.
You know, if they could just get over it and just go, okay, I don't try, I'm not trying to be a badass. I just tell it the way it is. And as soon as you tell it the way it is, then guess what? We get over it already.
Right.
Let's get back to work. Let's put it back in place. Let's do what we need to do and move on.
Right. And that's what they pay you for. So what else do you do besides F&I? You do sales training stuff?
Whatever. I mean, it depends on whatever the dealer will, really wants from me, because I'm not a cookie cutter. I'm just not into that. I'm really customized it based on what the dealer wants. So I get in there and really get into the minutia, and that is going to require sales training, and that is also going to require desking, and it's also going to, require, are we setting, what are we doing here with that desking piece?
Right.
I've gone in deals to the bank and have no mind to how deals are wrapped up before they make their way into F&I. What are we freaking doing with these deals?
Right. Eric Brower said, Becky, we need to work together. So there you go.
I love to. Thanks, Eric.
Eric's the CEO of Global Dealer Solutions. So, like.
Well, then you know how I am.
Well. Hey, I'll, look, I've never been in the car business, like I said, but I'll definitely vouch for you. You've got a heart of gold. You're a good person. So I'm very, very grateful to have you as a client of mine.
Absolutely.
And as a good friend of mine.
Well, I appreciate you too, because let me tell you, if I can just say something here real quick about that whole thing.
Okay.
Here was a dear friend of mine, and who I absolutely love to death. Her name's Lisa Copeland, and she's freaking, she tears it up. She's a good
Lisa. Woman. She's a client.
And she is freaking strong as death. Okay. So I'm on the phone with her, and she's like, you're going to have to do Facebook Lives, Becky. And I'm like, I'm not doing Facebook Live. She goes, yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I said, a Facebook Live, Lisa? She goes, yes. I'm not doing that, Lisa. I'm not.
Right.
I'm like, why would I want to do something like that? That's crazy.
Right.
It's good. So I'm like, anyway. So we got to talking. And, and we're talking more and more, and you're helping me through this, and you're helping me channel my, my thinking on this end. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do this, Ken. And you're like, no, Becky, here's the thing. You've got to be out there. I want people to get to know you. I want people to know your thing, because there are people that just don't know you, and they need to get to know you.
Right.
And I'm like, do you know how many people there are on Facebook? I remember the conversation was like yesterday.
Oh.
I said, well, Ken, you certainly have a valid point.
Yeah.
You got to get out there. You got to get people to know who you are. And, I know who you are, and the other people know who you are, but not everybody knows who you are.
That's right.
Just like that time I didn't know who Jim Sigler was, right?
Right.
And it was just like, there's a lot of people that don't know who Becky Chernek is. So I thought,
I pushed you, and I'm very grateful and happy that I did, because you, and here's the thing. This is what pisses me off, to be honest, about you. Can I just put you out on Front Street? All right.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Becky, this was what, 2 months ago? I don't even know how long ago. Has it been that long? Yeah, it's been 2 months at least.
Yeah,
right?
probably 2 months. Yeah.
And you were not, okay, listen to me. She was not doing Facebook Live. She would not have anything. I said, Becky, you have to. And the way that it started is you had a post that I tried to share and I couldn't share it.
That's
so
right.
I sent
That's
you
right.
a message and I said, hey, change your post to, it's on friends only, change it to so it's public so everybody can see it and I'll share it. I want to share it. It's a great, I forget what it was now. And you're like, oh, how do I do that? And I'm like, oh God. So I walked you through that real quick and then I shared it and then we just started talking and it turned into a friendship and so like, I'm telling you, this is what pisses me off is like you weren't even doing Facebook Lives 2 months ago. And now you get on Facebook Live and you get 11 and 12,000 views.
Yeah, because it's like important conversation.
It's
topics
incredible. It's insane.
Awesome.
Like
that's really insane.
You get so many views. I've never, like, that's a lot of views for anybody, let alone someone who never did freaking Facebook Lives. That's insane. It's awesome. So, you know, I told you I told you earlier, I said, I'm freaking proud of you. You've come from, I'm not doing a Facebook Live ever, Ken, and if you want me to, just unfriend me now. It wasn't quite that extreme, but it felt like it. But like now,
well, there was a lot of things. So there was a lot of things, you know, frankly, that you helped and we worked through. I mean, believe it or, I mean, some of the stuff, you know, you get cluttered, you know, I mean, there's so much stuff going on that you just, at times it's like you get stuck. And it's like, I'm in so many different directions. I'm like, you get to the point of, I got to stop for a minute. And how many times did we have that conversation?
Right.
I'm stuck, Ken.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. And it's like, and because so many things are going on all at one time. And it's like, after a while, it's like, where do you go? Where do you go from here?
Well, and I think that, you know, again, I mean, here's Eric Brown. This is a perfect example of how getting out there, getting known, getting on Facebook Lives. I mean, now Eric Brower wants to figure out how you guys can work together and build some kind of a synonymous or a synchronistic relationship where you're both benefiting from it. So I think, you know, people need to understand. I mean, I had a conversation with Hank Norman today, who is just Hank Norman on a phone call. And the dude is unbelievable, right? And like he built Grant Cardone's helped build him and get him to the level of you know what Grant's doing and Steve Harvey and the TV show The View and a bunch of other things. And the guy is just amazing. And you know, he was talking about that, you know, today. He was like, you know, you gotta pick something and you gotta go. You gotta get out there. And if you watch any of his videos, he's like, you know, press the record button. You've got to press record. You've got to get out there and get it on video and get out there so people can see you. You know, a picture of you may not look like Sandra Bullock, but when you get on a live stream and your mannerisms and you're flipping your hair like Sandra Bullock or something, I don't know, maybe that gets you a new customer. I'm kidding. But then,
whatever it takes, Ken.
But then you're also in here talking real stuff. You're in here talking, you know, like Eric Brower is saying, like Becky, look, I'll put the overlay up again. Becky, you're spot on. So many dealers want the big change and don't focus on the small tweaks that will increase revenue immediately. So like, you know, you've got somebody that is in the car business that was a general manager of a car dealership that knows this stuff, and and now like maybe something happens. So that's why it's important to, you know, if you know, and that's what I do. That's one of the things I do. I said, Becky, I'll coach you. I'll help you with all this.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
you know, I'm very, very, very grateful. I think you've done a phenomenal job. Again, I only know about the car business because I'm connected to so many people in the car business. I don't know why. But like,
because you're fun.
I like to have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, but at the end of the day, it sounds like you are carrying a pretty big bat and even Lisa Copeland, she's a client of mine too. and she said some amazing things about you as well. And so like you're just a badass. So I'm. Is there anything else that you would like to add to this that because I think we've covered most of the bases, but is there anything you would like to add before we finish up?
Well, here again, thank you. I appreciate that. But I feel like as being an entrepreneur or your own business, and because you always have to be on. I mean, you really do. It's not as easy as it seems. I mean, you're constantly figuring things out, and there are times when you get stuck in life, and there's times that things aren't as easy, and it's not happening for you. So there's consultants like yourself who I highly recommend that make a huge difference, that can get you out from under, for crying out loud, and start thinking, outside this box that you end up getting yourself. We all get inside this box. Let's not kid ourselves. Like you told me, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And it's not like, and we all feel like sometimes, no, it's just me. It's, we all get into this box thinking,
right.
And you got to get out from under,
right.
And you got to move on. You got to do what it takes to, get more clever, whatever that it takes to get outside that box and move on and move forward.
Yeah.
And, so that's you certainly have helped me out with that. And that's what you do with other business people like myself. I mean, we all get stuck, but, I feel like I love being the entrepreneur. Even, in sales, we were the entrepreneur in a car dealership. It was always that freedom, because if we didn't sell cars, you can't make money. Yeah. If you can't sell products, you can't make an income. Right. Let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
But if you don't sell deals, if you don't sell to a dealer, if you don't, then you might as well cough it up. But that's not, who I am. I keep wanting to move forward and do whatever it takes to make a difference. I mean, I talk about the evolution of the car business a lot. I'm really seeing some amazing things happen in the automotive industry, and where F&I again is going to be challenged again. And we're going to be challenged in that we're going to have to meet customers earlier on in that process. We're talking about Carvana. We talk about CarMax. We talk about all these things that are happening. We don't have to like it. I don't have to like it, but it is what it is. And so we have to all get outside our own box. Yeah. We all have to find someone to help us get outside that box, move on, and figure out ways to make it happen.
Yeah.
And
you're doing it.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. And with your help, and I certainly appreciate that too. And I know it's not easy for you either, Ken.
Hey, but it's, that I think that for me, my calling in life is to help people get out of that. I've got some things coming out soon, that I'm working on, that are kind of a play on my last name. My last name is Walls, and I think that ironically there's the box has these walls around it, and people don't know how to bust through those walls. They don't know how to get through or over them or dig a tunnel under, but they get trapped within these walls, and they don't know how to get out, or they don't know how to, it's like when Lisa told you, you need to go live, and you're like, hell,
I'm not going live.
You're like, the devil will show up on a snowmobile and say, hey y'all, it's snowing down there before that happens. But I was able to help you. I was able to help you see the value in it and see that you're capable of doing it. And even this software that I'm using right now, like you got the same exact software, and it's not easy to figure out at first. And boom, you got it. It must be because you sold computers and copiers. Like you're.
I think you walked through that a little bit with me, right?
I did. It's all right.
I think we took a while.
You learned definitely.
You said, Becky, let me tell you, got 5 minutes. That's it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm used to that being in the car business. You have to be quick.
I said, Becky, I only got 5 minutes, and like 45 minutes later, we're still on there. I'm like, oh my God. But, I love it. And, I love helping you, and you're amazing. And I'm very, very grateful for our friendship, and look forward to many, many years of working together and being friends. And
Absolutely. And thank you
You're
again.
going to the next dealership with me when I go to get a car, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I have a feeling
I have a
that dealer will rue the day.
We'll get you all taken care of. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
He'll buy a service contract too, Eric.
Oh my God.
All right, maybe tire, wheel, and gap. Okay.
Yeah, right. So anyway, well, listen, I thank you very much for coming on. You're amazing. I'm very, very grateful to have had you on this. And, you know, as always, I would do anything to help anybody that I can within my power. And I know you're the same exact way. So, if you're in the car business and you know, you want to get out of denial, denial is not a river in Egypt. But if you want to get out of denial and you want some help with your dealership becoming more profitable, there's your chick right there, Becky Chernek. She will hook you up. So Becky, I'm gonna let me do this real fast. I'm gonna throw it up here. What's your website address?
Oh, my website is CCI learningcenter.com.
Center.com.
So
there it is.
CCI Learning Center.
I threw it up on the screen. CCIlearningcenter.com. If you want to get in touch with Becky, you want to reach out to her and you know, take advantage of her services and have her come in and help you. That's how you get a hold of her. Obviously through Facebook, Rebecca Chernek. Look her up. She's amazing. Becky, you rock. You rock.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much for inviting me on your show with you. It was great.
It was awesome. I don't think I've laughed that hard in a while. So that was awesome.
Have good laughs there. More good stories.
That's right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, listen, have a great night, everybody who shared, everybody who commented, everybody who, thank you all. By the way, I'm just off topic for 1 second. I'm looking out the back window and there's a spotlight that lights up the back of and it's snowing right now. What the? Anyway, all right. Well, stop it already with the snow, for the love of. All right. So, wow. Anyway, I wish I would have had your website up here the whole time. I didn't even think about that, but I'm glad it's up here now. So listen, thank you so much. Have a great night, y'all. Thank you all for being on here. Robert C. Stern, how you doing? We're signing off. Thank you all very, very much. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you.